Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shadowlands beta. My name is Shirley, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Necrotic Wake on Mythic 10. This is scaled, of course, on the beta right now, so even though it's Mythic 10, things are a little bit wonky as far as the difficulty curve. But anyway, I'm playing Arms once again with Condemn from the Venthyr. I've mixed it up a little bit. In this current run, I was using the legendary that impacts Bladestorm, and what it does is it makes anytime you're Bladestorming, you will automatically cast 2 Mortal Strikes for free, and if you have Sweeping Strikes up during that, it will cleave these, so you can get 4 free Mortal Strikes during any kind of big AoE situation. Speaking of AoE situations, this is the beginning of the dungeon here, and there is a ton of trash in this courtyard before the first boss, and you definitely want to clear out most of the trash in here because the boss moves around and you need to kite him, so the chances of you pulling the stuff around the room is pretty high if you don't want to clear that out. I do want to point out that this was recorded before the Spear of Bastion nerf, so that's why our Prot Warrior in this is doing a ton of damage, so keep that in mind for any of these big AoE pulls. Anyway, moving on. After we clear out this great big courtyard you see here, there's this robot guy in the corner over here. And if you have any Kyrians in your party, they can summon the little owl dude, and he'll activate this thing for your party, and he spits out all these little orbs here. And if you run around and pick these up, they'll give you a buff that increases your haste and damage and whatnot. And now we're going to go ahead and use this and pull the first boss here and go ahead and bloodlust on him. And I didn't have Avatar quite up yet, that's why I was saving my Warbreaker right here, waiting for that so I can crank the boss for a little bit with Condemn before he falls at 80. And what this guy does is he'll randomly target a player and spit out that cone in front of him, and it puts stuff on the ground, and it also summons those little worm ads from the vomit, or whatever you want to call it. And generally you want to kill them as fast as possible, but the tank is going to pick them all up and kite them because they hit really hard. But we had the debuff, or the buff, I should say, from the Kyrian guy and Lust and everything, so we just blew up everything right there. It's fortunate that we had cooldowns for that. But after the second round here, you can kind of see what they're supposed to be doing. And the boss will do these AoEs and puts those patches on the ground that actually hurts, and I want to say it stacks up if you stand in it for too long. But here's me getting the breath. And our tank didn't grab these right away, I don't think, so I had some aggro, and they'll just fixate. And if you get meleeed by them, they hurt, so that's why we're dipping pretty low here. I went ahead and popped parry there. I'm not sure if you can actually parry them or if it goes through it, but either way, they put the little dot on you, and it killed me anyway. So moving on to the next portion of the dungeon, there's a ton of trash up this walkway area, but you can avoid most of it, we found. And when you run into this guy, this Marogar, I think this is a mini-boss, or what you would probably consider a mini-boss. He's got a few mechanics. He's got this Blizzard Storm thing that you want to, get out of before that goes off. He'll summon these bone spikes, kind of Marogar style. I'm not sure if they'll actually impale you and stun you, or if they just do damage if you get hit. I think they just do damage if you get hit, though. But this guy's kind of a tank buster, so you definitely want to watch out, or warn your tank before pulling this guy, because currently, anyway, he hits really hard on the tank. I believe our tank actually gets killed here. Yep, right there. Luckily, we have a B-res for that. I parry grab him for a second to knock him down. Now, back in this corner behind him, you can't really see it here, but there's another one of those Kyrian Steward bots that you can activate, which will give you a damage buff to clear out this next group of trash here. You do have to kill an extra set of trash to get to it, and you already got so much percentage in here that we didn't really feel like it was necessary at the time. But this next group can be a little bit tough if you don't know, what to focus, which is the Necromancer here, because as soon as he goes down, all of these other little ads will just die. So you definitely want to nuke this guy as fast as possible. And that brings me to the next point. You're going to see this next platform where the second boss is at. Unfortunately, I messed up, and my recording disappeared somewhere into the abyss for the next boss, but I'm going to do my best to quickly explain what he is. He's this dragon dude, and you fight the dragon, or the guy on the ground that gets off of the dragon, and he'll summon a bunch of ads. Basically, you just want to kill the ads as fast as possible, because he'll do this big AoE nuke thing. I believe it stacks up with the ads Maybe I'm misremembering that. It's been a while, but it wasn't too bad as long as you were managing the ads. I think there was a caster that really needed kicked in this group here. And this big courtyard, you don't have to worry about. All these guys just get one-shotted, but right there is the dragon boss that's flying around. My bad, sorry, I don't know where that file went. But anyway, moving on to the third boss, which is the professor guy here with the abominations. This fight is pretty neat. I like this. He summons these abominations periodically, and then they'll do a couple of casts and put this stuff on the ground. They like their stuff on the ground in this dungeon. But he'll cast this meat hook here, and he'll target a player randomly, and you see that red arrow, and you'll want to position yourself in between the abomination and the boss up on the platform, because he'll hook the boss down so you can actually damage the boss from this point. Now, you could keep the abomination alive here and just keep repositioning this hook into the boss, because it does extra damage to him. But he was so low already, and we weren't really planning ahead on this run, so we went ahead and killed him. And from this point, it's just avoiding little patches on the ground, because they actually hurt quite a bit. And once you get the boss low enough, he'll jump back up on the platform. Don't reflex charge it like I did, because you'll see how much the pools on the ground do. And he'll summon another abomination off these, like, Frankenstein pads in the corners of the room. And from this point, it's just rinse repeat. Now, that being said, right here, you'll see that when he casts his meat hook again, it does have a maximum range on it, it seems. So you have to drag the abominations at least close enough to that platform, like 30-ish yards, it seems, to grab that hook. So we missed that one, but we're just dragging him closer here to go again. And I jump across this because I wasn't sure how long of a duration I had before he actually casted the hook. But yeah, I definitely wanted to parry there because these pools hurt so much. Now, we took a little bit of time here, so he actually summons another ad. So you probably want to go ahead and kill one of these abominations. That way he's not, you know, just overwhelming you. Especially if this was fortified or something, or tyrannical, you know, where this fight could really drag out, then you definitely want to be cleaning up these abominations, I would think. But we got him low enough here that I opted to just, you know, focus most of the condemned damage into the boss himself without worrying too much about the extra abomination just going for broke, so to speak. I am using the conduit that you'll probably just have all the time with Condemn that buffs its damage by 8% for every enemy in your vicinity. It's like 5 or 8 yards, I want to say. And yeah, now you take up the portal here after the third boss goes down and see a nice scenic view of the rest of the dungeon. I should have spun the camera around there. To the top of the Necropolis, which is basically like Nax, and just like Nax, we get to fight our Kel'Thuzad knockoff boss guy up here. Not really sure what his story is. I don't remember seeing him prior. But what this guy does after we pull here is he casts this rain thing periodically that you just have to avoid some pools on the ground. Not that big of a deal. He'll put that big circle debuff on somebody randomly as well that you saw off in the left corner on the pull there. You just want to get out away from everybody with that so you're not splashing everybody. And then he will randomly target somebody. I think it's random anyway. Maybe it's based on threat or something goofy. Not tanks, I don't think, but he'll target somebody and teleport them down to the edge of the Necropolis here, and I got it this time. And from this point, you just have to run this gauntlet, avoiding these ice shard things, and kill this guy at the end here who's like stunning, subjugating this Kyrian guy at the end here. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to do to him, but you don't like it. And you gotta solo this guy, and beforehand, I'm not sure if it was a scaling thing. I know a couple of classes were having trouble actually soloing this guy, but believe it or not, Arms Warrior, it seemed to work out fine for me, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue, I wouldn't think. But he does cast a bolt thing that you can actually spell reflect as a warrior, so that's good to know. From here, we'll just click on this guy, and he'll fly us back up to the top platform. That animation, though, looks pretty goofy. I don't think that's finalized. And from here, it's Nuke the boss. However, once you get chucked back up here, if you notice my debuffs, I've got that blue ice debuff. I should have ran away in the corner here. I just forgot about it. After that thing times out from being down on the side platform, you'll drop that giant ice patch, and that persists basically for the rest of the fight. So you'd want to, you know, run off in the corner and get that away from everybody as soon as you come back up from the gauntlet run, so you're not dropping on everybody like I did. And then he'll cast a Jaina Avalanche style spell that you saw briefly there, that you just have to kite around, try not to overlap on, you know, the rest of your party. He'll also cast this other big shield thing, which he'll do throughout the fight, and as a warrior you can actually Shattering Throw that, and it'll do bonus damage because it's an absorption. It's not an immunity, you just have to break it anyway, but Shatter is really useful for breaking that as a warrior. But anyway, there is the Necrotic Wake dungeon. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know I'm enjoying the Shadowlands beta so far, so I'll see you guys next time. Peace.